What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about a Shudder original. Now, like always, this is never sponsored by them or anything like that. I just like promoting companies I like, and services I like a lot. So I like to just give them a shout out and stuff. But yeah, this is one of their original films. This actually just came out on the January 14th, 2021, like 2 or 3 days ago. So yeah, and that is Hunted. This is a French British film, I think, and yeah, it was stars Christian Brochart and produced by Alexandra Pierre and Bennett Rowland, and it was co-written by Leah Pernaulette. Pernaulette, I think that's how you pronounce it, and is co-written and directed by Vincent Perronod, who's also done other films like The Dark Pinocchio, the 2008 version, and Pat Boone, to name a few things. He's more of like a cinematographer, I think. But yeah, Hunted is your basic, um, sort of like, uh, sort of like kidnap survival type film. Basically, you have a housing developer, and she is having trouble and work stressing her out, so she goes to a bar slash club to have a drink and let loose for a little bit, just so this. And I don't think her relationship with her ex is going on too well. They sort of emphasize that in the beginning, but it's not really related to the story. It's just to give her an excuse to go out. But yeah, and then she meets this awkward but interesting dude at the bar who has the most ridiculous dance moves. He kind of dances like I would at a club, and basically they hit it off, and yeah, so they things look good. Looks like it's going to be like a good night, your typical club hookup night, and then things take a turn because his friend comes in the car and they just drive off and lock her in, and they're sort of like stubborn and keeping quiet and stuff. So she eventually convinces them to let her go, and basically, well, she's in the middle of nowhere at this point, and she's also trying to find a way back to the city, and yeah, she stops at a convenience store, and he just so happens to come back, and then the ball really gets rolling, where basically she learns that they're basically gonna kidnap her and do what they want with her. And but she manages to outsmart them and escapes into the forest where they slowly chase after her. And it's from that point on is pretty much just a chase film. And that's all it is. There's very little actual, a very little cohesive narrative. About half an hour into the film, it basically just goes from a like a dark thriller survival type deal to just full on chase and try to get away and sort of do a little bit of revenge things here and there. Um, yeah, there's not much to it. It's pretty basic. It's nothing super new. But they do put some funny, dark, humorous stuff into this, and it works really well because the first half has quite a bit of tension in it, and yeah, once they put the first little bit of humor into it, it kind of breaks it a bit, but then it builds it up again, and it sort of works for the most part until the third act. The third act gets really ridiculous at the near the end. Basically, yeah, you think she's gonna be all right and find people to help, and then it takes a turn, and then vice versa. It goes again, and then it slowly begins into near the end. I might spoil a few things about this just so you know, but basically, she goes and finds a way to more civilized areas, and it turns out they, from their perspective, it seems like she's chasing him, not the opposite way, and it's all about cat and mouse type deal. And the marketing of this film kind of points it out as sort of like a modern take on Red Riding Hood. Like she has a red hoodie on, and the evil guy is the big bad wolf, basically hunting her down, which is kind of present. You could tell what they're trying to get at, and it was pretty good. But it's definitely um, amusing, and there's some parts that are pretty quirky that kind of probably wouldn't work in in that sense, but they definitely try to amp it up and stuff. There's some pretty cool practical effects like gore effects and stuff. There's a cool death scene in it, and yeah, overall, it's not that bad of a film. It's definitely nothing too spectacular. It's stuff we've seen before, but it's like a new, somewhat little bit refreshing coat of paint on an old type of tale, and you can definitely see that they're trying to do things a little differently. Some parts work, some parts didn't, but you can never always have it perfectly, right? So yeah, Hunted is your typical chase revenge film, but this one has pretty much little storyline, but you do get to feel for the characters in some sort of way, whether you just want to see some craziness. I wouldn't class. Some people are classifying this as a horror film. I wouldn't. I classify this more as a dark thriller. But yeah, because there's very little horror elements to it, and overall it just gets pretty psychotic and crazy near the end. And yeah, it's a fun ride, but overall I was disappointed by the third act. I was in it for the first two acts anyways of the film, but then like when it slowly starts like splintering off and like crumbling into just nothingness. There's not even a full-on conclusion at the end. It's just nuts. So yeah, Hunted is interesting. If you if you want a good chase out, keep your adrenaline going, this is a good one. And if you want to just turn off your brain and watch someone get chased through the woods and a whole pile of random ridiculous stuff happens, with some comedic parts to it, this one might be for you. Yeah, but for me, it was okay. If I was gonna rate, out of five, I'd probably give this one a 3.5. Yeah, because like there's no very like after the first act, there's no very cohesive narrative to follow. It's basically just chase and get the hell out of there, revenge, and that's that. So it's nothing new. Pretty good gore effects, great cinematography. The music is actually pretty interesting in it too. How they incorporate certain sounds and stuff to help boost your adrenaline and help you cheer on the race. So Hunted's cool. Check it out. It's on Shudder. Also, if you're on Shudder, look for my name with no spaces. That's my opinion. I always post my opinion right after watching the film in the comments and give like a little rating there too. So if you just happen to come across that, that's me actually doing that. So yeah, but trailer's linked down below if you want to check it out. If you haven't heard of it or in your seems like it might be up your alley, check it out. Trailer's linked down below. Also, my Instagram's always linked down below. I post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my story. I also had the title of the film in the hashtag somewhere in the video clip, so make sure you follow me there to stay in the loop and catch up and maybe check it out and see. Also, I put the type of subgenre of film in the video clip as well. Yeah, so that's linked down below. Also, make sure you like this video, share it if you really want to, comment down below your opinions on it if you've seen it. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you have any other films you want to hear my opinions on, comment those down below too. Any films at all, I'll watch anything. I did a romance film in the last video, now I'm doing this one. And the next two, you probably have no idea exactly what I'm going to do. I have a good idea, and they're two things I barely talk about on this channel as well. So, yeah, make sure you subscribe to stay in the loop. And, yeah, that's about it. So, yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next review. Hopefully I find something good for you to watch that you probably never heard of. So I guess I'll see you in the next review.